If you were good at learning languages, what would you be doing differently when you're learning languages or studying pronunciation? What if you're actually already good? I think a lot of times in education systems or just how we learn languages, we're often kind of taught that it's insufficient what we're doing, that we're not good at what we're doing, that we have issues, that we have problems, that we are not naturally talented at acquiring a new language. And this may not apply to you. You may be like, no, I'm great at it, which is great. But just as someone who's gone through, a language system in high school in the US and seeing people go through their own education systems in their own countries, what often happens is we grow up thinking that we're just not naturally talented at languages, that learning a language is going to be very difficult for us and things like that. When in reality, one of the nice things about language learning is that, I could put you on a plane, I could take you to a country you've never been before, with people you've never met, take you away from everything to you that's familiar, and I could leave you there. And if I came back and visited you after a year or 2 years, we would find that more often than not, you would be communicative in that new language. The brain is naturally wired for it. Okay, what's up to Dan? Thanks for hanging with us today. Good to see you. And so I really think we need to understand that our language ability, everyone who is watching this has a natural ability at a language, at learning languages, at acquiring them. Okay, so I just want to kind of discuss how that impacts us a little bit. Good morning, guys. Good evening. Good afternoon. Welcome to your daily American English pronunciation show. Oh my gosh, things are all over the place. What is this show? It is Wake Up American. We are here Monday through Friday, typically between the hours of 7 to 8 a.m. to make sure that you can get into your 5 to 10 minutes of pronunciation practice for a day, because that is what it takes. If you are serious about language learning, I think you can do it. I believe in you, and I think you can get a pretty natural sound while you're at it if you're willing to put in some time every single day. I'm putting in some time every day for you, so hopefully you can do the same. My name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. That is one of the four keys to a natural sound in American English, including placement, pitch, breath, trying to weaken your consonant sounds in order to strengthen your vowel sounds. And so, how we identify and how we think of ourselves, like if we think that language learning is hard, it's going to be hard. Promise you. If we think that we have a natural gift at learning languages, then what I think we're more likely to find is that we will have a natural gift for learning languages. Okay. I think we need to approach it from a viewpoint of positivity, because a positive mindset and approach and belief in ourselves is not going to solve all of our problems, but it's going to solve all of our problems better than a negative approach will. Okay. And one of the things that we can start with is we can start thinking about, is there someone we know who's really talented at learning languages or pronunciation or whatever it may be? Okay, and you can apply this to any field in your life. It doesn't have to be language learning. But is there someone who's already doing the thing? And just kind of imagine what their schedule looks like. And maybe I should rephrase. Don't think about their schedule right now, but think about their schedule that brought them to their success. Before they were good at the thing they were doing. What do you think their daily schedule looked like? What do you think? Because look, I mean, everyone has the same amount of time every day, right? I have 24 hours, you have 24 hours, the same 24 hours. Okay. Um, so it may be helpful for you to even just like take out a piece of paper and just write down, what do you think they're doing from like 7 to 8 a.m.? What do you think they're doing at like noon? What do you think they're doing at 5 p.m.? What do you think they're doing at 8 p.m.? What do you think they're doing at midnight? All these things. What's up to Zabeta hanging out with us? Good to see you as always. What are they doing? Because the more you can think about that, I mean, what you see is that their actions can be your actions. Doesn't have to be any separation. Okay, doesn't have to be any separation. And Nelson mentions that I suppose it's discipline. Okay, I really like being practical. Anyone who's worked with me before, talked with me, knows I really like practical steps. I don't like just sticking to theory. I like trying to have actual actionable steps to take. You know, Because the reality is that all those people that are doing the things that you want, who are, learning languages the way you want, or have the accent you want, or doing any skill that you want, they do things to arrive at that point. So let's kind of decide what they are, because we need to start thinking like, okay, if I were good at learning a language, well, let me rephrase. What would someone who is good at learning a language do in this situation? Because the more that we can start doing those things, and the more we can start kind of changing how we think about ourselves. Because if I do the things, then I'm like, oh, a person who is good at learning a language does this, and I start doing those things, well, then suddenly, don't I become a person who's good at learning a language, right? Because I'm doing the things that I'm like, okay, they would do this, then I should do this. Okay, so for instance, Sobeda mentions that, okay, small steps every day, like shadowing, listening, watching an easy show, and reading. I'd like that you included easy. What one thing that they talk about, if you're trying to learn, if you're trying to get better at reading, you don't want to pick up a text that's super difficult and you need to look up every other word. No, you want to pick up a text where you understand 90% of the vocabulary. Don't pick something that's like overbearing. Okay, it's small increments. There's a idea called the zone of proximal development in language learning. So you're just picking something that's a little bit within your grasp, a little bit beyond you. It's also the idea of like crashing, like I plus one. Pick something that's just a little bit more advanced than you, just a little bit. Okay, so but let's kind of work with what Sobeda's telling me. So if I'm interested in learning a language, right now I'm doing nothing. And I'm thinking, okay, well, what would someone who is good at learning languages be doing? And oh, I'm like, they would be shadowing, they would be listening, they would watch an easy show, and they would be reading. Well, then I can then ask myself, okay, well, did I shadow today? Yes or no? Did I practice listening today? Yes or no? Did I watch an easy show? Yes or no? Did I read? Yes or no? So, and I think the more specific you can be, so instead of shadowing, like put something like time limits, like shadow for this amount of time. Or instead of watching an easy show, maybe specify watch an easy show and identify 5 new words. Like trying to put on some actionable goals onto this. I think can be really helpful. But this is kind of my challenge for you for today and this week. And as we enter 2025, as we enter the new year, this is something I want you to be thinking about. I don't want you to be thinking if you were good at languages, what would you do different? I want you to think, I am good at learning languages because I do this. And what is your this? And let me know. I would love to know in the comments or in the chat or send me messages, whatever it may be. I want to know the reason why you are a good language learner. And if you don't believe that about yourself yet, then that's the very first thing I need you to work on. I need you to first change our mindset to be like, yes, I am good at this, and this is the reason why. With that, guys, I'll be back tomorrow. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. Look, there's a million pronunciation channels out there, so the fact that you spent some time here listening to me ramble about things is greatly appreciated. Once more, my name is Jeff, rhymes with breath. It's one of the 4 keys of natural sound American English, including placement, pitch, breath. Trying to weaken your consonant sounds, strengthen your vowel sounds. I will see you all later, guys. Hope you have a good day, have a good night, and a good afternoon.